On today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, I take a look at 3 players that I believe the Bears should extend before week 1. We'll take a look at some other players that conceivably are extension eligible, but I think are very, very unlikely to get extended as well. But we'll focus on these 3 first. Let's start with one of the newest members of the Chicago Bears, and that is Joe Thuney, the 4-time All-Pro, 4-time Super Bowl champion, the guard who came over from Kansas City right before free agency started. I think this is a pretty easy and obvious one. He's got 1 year and $16 million left on his current deal. As of now, he would enter free agency next year, and to me, that would just be silly to let that happen. I've heard people compare this to Keenan Allen last year. Completely different situation. 1, you already had DJ Moore under contract making a lot of money at receiver. 2 high-paid receivers long-term to extend. And Keenan at his age, there wasn't a clear dip happening, but there was also a pretty big belief they were going to take Rome Odunze early, so that was different. Joe Thuney's your best offensive lineman right now. He is still at the top of his game. I'd be shocked if he wasn't extended before the start of this season. And another reason it would just be surprising is, don't you just want to line up the timeline with your interior offensive lineman? They added a year to Jonah Jackson's deal. He's through 2027. Drew Dahlman signed a 3-year contract through 2027. Both have outs after 2026, by the way, so they're really 2+1s. You could do a similar thing with Joe Thuney. Give him a 2-year extension, or just rip up this current year and just do a new 3-year contract. You do like 3 years and $65 million, something like that, for one of, if not the best guard in the game. This is an extension projection I threw out there on an earlier video. I'll bring it back. 2 years, $42 million, $21 per year, which is right at the top of the guard market if you take out Trey Smith's franchise tag cap hit, which is like $23 million. Guarantee 30 of it and call it a day. To me, that's pretty easy. You're not tying yourself crazy long term, but you're giving yourself security in the short term to line up with your other interior offensive linemen. These guys can grow for the next couple of years, protect your quarterback in Caleb Williams. And speaking of Caleb, it would also be lined up contractually where these guys are all off your books around the time you would commit big money to Caleb Williams, which is the ultimate goal, right? Because that means that you found the right quarterback. So I think the way they've structured these contracts so far has been smart, and I think extending Joe Thuney to line up with those 2 guys is a pretty easy, obvious, and quite frankly, a decision I'd be shocked if it wasn't made. Will Joe Thuney get extended? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I fully expect him to. Now, whether it's in the next few weeks or closer to training camp, I'm not sure, but I do think he will get extended. All right, number 2, that is Kyler Gordon, a player we've talked about as an extension candidate numerous times this offseason. He's also in the final year of his deal. Different scenario. It's his rookie contract. So obviously he's not making the caliber of money that a veteran is with the expiring contract. Of course, I think a worthwhile note here is he was the first draft pick Ryan Poles has made. 2nd-round pick in 2022, 41 overall, 39, one of those, I think 39 overall. It was 39 overall. And to me, he's lived up to being a quality 2nd-round player. He's been good. The biggest knack against him has been he's missed 9 games in 3 years. So not a lot, but not nothing either. 14 games a year on average. So, okay, he's missed some time here and there. Jalen Johnson was similar through his first 3 years, and then he was pretty much fully healthy last year, fully healthy this year. So it wasn't like a lingering issue. But I just like the way he plays. I like the intensity that he plays with. I love the versatility. To me, he's earned a contract extension. He can play the run. He's a willing tackler in the box. You can blitz him. He can cover. I think if you need him to play outside corner in a pinch, he could do that for you. He played a lot of outside corner at the University of Washington. Remember early on in his Bears career, he was kind of bummed about kicking inside to playing nickel, but it turned out to be a great fit for him and his athletic profile because you can deploy him in a lot of different ways. So I'm not going to say this is like just an easy layup, but when you draft a player, especially on day 1 or day 2, and he plays well, that's what you want. You want to develop homegrown talent and reward those players with contracts. So Don't know what a deal would look like. Jordan Lewis got 3 for 30 in free agency. I think Gordon's a better player and he's younger, so you're looking at more like 11 or 12 million bucks per year. Maybe it's more like 3 for 33, 3 for 36. I think he's worth it because he's so versatile. And I think in a Dennis Allen scheme, which is much more aggressive and not just a kind of sit in coverage, fundamentally sound scheme that Matt Eberflus had, I think Gordon has a chance to really, really take off. And don't forget, Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson, your head coach who's an offensive guy, both were quick to point out Kyler Gordon as a player that they really like on this roster in their introductory press conferences. So I don't think that's insignificant at all. And just if you're a GM, you're going to have a little bit of an ego. You want to pay off that first pick you've ever made as a GM in the league. I think Kyler Gordon gets extended. All right, you guys should be checking out the Rocket Money app because, listen, money can be stressful, right? And, as you get through the month and you're paying off bills and maybe you have a college tuition bill that you're still paying off, whatever the case may be, staying on top of your finances. It can be stressful, but it's important, and you got to talk about it, and you got to stay on top of it. And that is what Rocket Money is going to help you do. Personal finance app that can help you find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitors your overall spending, and will help you lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. It can do all of that for you. If you're looking to set a budget and stay on top of it, maybe you're spending, I'll just throw a number out there, $3,500 per month, and you need to get under $3,000 per month on spending. Well, check out Rocket Money, cancel subscriptions you're no longer using, which they make it very easy for you to do. You can also set budgets within the app, and they will send you alerts and reminders throughout the month to make sure you're staying on top of that. Hey, you're over budget. Don't eat out as much, whatever the case may be with that. They're going to help you do that for you. You can negotiate to lower bills by up to 20% in terms of a decrease in price. You upload your bill to the app, and they will search for a better price for you and get back to you in a timely manner. So a lot of awesome benefits to Rocket Money. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions today. They have saved their 5 million users and counting $500 million in canceled subscriptions alone, including members who can earn up to $740 in savings when using the app's full features. So rocketmoney.com/bears now. Save your money with Rocket Money. Okay, let's get to our third guy here. TJ Edwards. TJ Edwards, who, look, this would be his third contract in the NFL, and those are a little tougher, right? Like rookie deal, first contract for players, those are pretty easy because they're still in their 20s. I think TJ, I'll just check real quick. I think he's 28. Let me see. 28. He'll turn 29 in August, so right before the season starts. 1 year, $7 million left on his contract. Currently set to be a free agent 2026. Almost 29, so you could say, okay, well, do you want to commit to him long term? That's a little tougher, right? Like Kyler Gordon, you'd give him a 3 or 4 year deal. Even Joe Thuney at 32, he's still at the top of his game. Interior offensive lineman should be able to play at a high level. I'm comfortable giving him a 2-year extension. TJ Edwards, who I really like and has definitely been the more valuable linebacker when they signed him and Tremaine Edmonds in the same offseason 2 years ago, especially when you factor in contract. But I just think straight up player, TJ's been better as well than Tremaine. Edwards is a guy I would like to keep for a couple of reasons. One, he's played well enough, and I still think that he can age pretty well. He's not a premier athlete, but I think in the next couple of years he'll still play at a high level, and he shouldn't cost a ton of money. Like, I think you could extend him at less than $10 million per year. But what are your options at linebacker moving forward? You let Jack Sanborn walk, a young player. Tremaine Edmonds, if he doesn't play well this year, he's a pretty obvious cut candidate with his contract next offseason. I'm giving TJ Edwards at least a 1-year extension, maybe 2. I don't know if I'd do a new 3 or 4 year deal. That gets into that 31, 32, 33 range. He's not a great athlete, so if he starts to slow down even more, that makes him, a little tougher to be a 3-down linebacker in today's NFL. But I would offer him like today, hey, TJ, 1 year, $10 million, 8 guaranteed. Let's get you locked down through next year because you need somebody on your roster next year. And technically Tremaine's on your roster next year, but if he doesn't take a huge step under Dennis Allen, that's a pretty easy cut for me. So I would extend TJ Edwards on a 1-year deal, keep him under contract for another year, just to give yourself flexibility entering next offseason, because what you don't want is to have to reset your entire linebacker room, which is a possibility depending on what they do the rest of this offseason at the linebacker position. All right, so there you go. 3 extension candidates. How would you rank them? 1, 2, 3. So, for example, if you're going to go Kyler Gordon as your top priority, then Joe Thuney, then TJ Edwards, you would type 2-1-3 in the chat. If Edwards, Thuney, then Gordon is your order, 3-1-2. I would order it how it is on screen. To me, Thuney, best player, lines up with the rest of your interior guys, protects your franchise's most valuable asset in Caleb Williams. That's an easy one. Gordon would be number 2 for me, young, ascending player. TJ would be 3, but still a guy I would do. I would order it 1, 2, 3, but what say you? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, hit that subscribe button. We will continue to pump out Bears content here on a daily basis here on Chicago Bears Now, the latest news, rumors, segments. We'll take your questions on our mailbag episodes as well when we go live every Monday and Thursday at 4 o'clock Central. So don't forget to subscribe. Also, just a little honorable mention. These are guys who technically are in like an extension window. They're eligible, or guys you could consider extending. Braxton Jones, I think with the leg injury, that's a no-go for me right now. If he plays well this year, starts most of the games, okay, we can revisit that next offseason or maybe even in the middle of the season. But right now, that's a non-starter for me. Jaquan Brisker with the concussion issue, obviously you would not do that right now, which is unfortunate because he's a player going into last year that would have been a guy with a healthy season. I would have definitely wanted to extend, kind of like Kyler Gordon, but Brisker's just not there right now. Kevin Byard, could you kind of like what I proposed to TJ Edwards, do like a 1-year extension just to keep a guy for another year because your safety position looks pretty thin heading into next year? I think at 32 years old, I probably would not do that. Andrew Billings, again, coming off a major injury. Was it a torn pec? Can't remember what it was, but I would just play this year out. I think that's the case with all these guys. I would play 2025 out with the rest of the roster. The 3 big ones I mentioned of Joe Thuney, Kyler Gordon, and TJ Edwards, yeah, let's get those guys locked up, at least 1 or 2 of them before the season. If you want to wait on a TJ Edwards, I certainly could understand that, but I would extend Thuney or Gordon before week 1 because to me, those are players I want on this team moving forward. All right, appreciate everybody for tuning in to this edition of Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Give me a follow on Twitter at HGrahamNFL. We'll continue the conversation over there.